Hi, it's November, I can't believe. November 6th to be precise. But I've been staying busy. Uh, I'm still not able to get my video editing thing going, so I'm going to just have to do this in one take. So pardon if I do this quickly. The thing that has been keeping me really busy since late September has been making wine. Funny process. I ended up buying muscadines and I was going to make jam, and I thought, well, let me see if I can make some wine first. And just doing a variation. I wanted to keep it simple. I wasn't going to have pectin enzymes. I wasn't going to use the metabisulfates or Camden tablets or any of the other. I just wanted to keep it with stuff I already had. I have a lot of bread yeast. With bread yeast, from the research I was doing, it's supposed to die at 5 or 6% alcohol content. The yeast doesn't survive that. So if you want higher alcohol content percentage, then you need to get wine or champagne yeast. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use this. But that information may not be correct, because I'm telling you this wine tastes a lot more alcoholic, a lot higher in alcohol than the wine I'm buying at the store, which is at 12 or 14%. So I just kept the recipe simple: sugar, water, fruit, yeast. I did using 5-gallon buckets, and by the time you put the water, using here, I tripled the recipe to 9 quarts, and then using 18 cups of sugar, 3 quarts of muscadines mashed, taken out of the skins. So that pretty much comes up to over 4 gallons, and I used the 5-gallon buckets. That worked out really good. So my target goal was to make 3 gallons out of 5-gallon buckets. And I got to make jam. And I made a lot of jam. I got them underneath my couch for now. A lot of it will become Christmas gifts, because we really don't eat jam that often. But nothing was wasted. So all this fruit got turned into jam, not the seeds. So I started out trying to replace the muscadine wine, because that's what we've been drinking. I've been buying a Dublin brand, Carolina Red is what it's called, and we really enjoy it. But I thought, okay, it's costing $7 a bottle. You can get 5 wine bottles, the 750 milliliter wine bottles, out of 1 gallon. So this is 15 bottles right here. Light and air is what you need to avoid. This had stopped bubbling, so I thought, oh, I need to, I moved it out of the spare room and put it over here, and it started bubbling again. So I decided to put this is a seed warming mat for seedlings and starting seeds. So I've been using this to just get the temperature up, and it is warmer here, and light and air. These airlocks, get them, and not this kind. This kind could fail you, even if it kept the water. As you see, I need to add more water to this. It can fail and you not know it, whereas this, even with, because it will evaporate, both will evaporate, they will, this will keep the airlock even if it's low, where the other one could fail you. Oh, there it just went. So now the water should be up here. And if you notice, even with the tiny holes up here, fruit flies. It was just disgusting. I could see their little bodies were bobbling through here, and Anyway, it just kind of grossed me out. So I cleaned them up, replaced them, and there's a little bit of coffee filter I cut and put them in here. This one I didn't do such a clean job of, but so that you can see it doesn't have to be. It works. I've heard people put like knee-high stockings or cutting a pantyhose and putting a thing over there to keep the flies from getting into it. As long as they don't get through the airlock, it's not going to hurt your wine. But fruit flies are very, very bad. You need to make sure that they do not ever access your wine, because what they do is they will lay their egg and defecate for the eggs to grow on, and they will change it to the worst vinegar, unpalatable vinegar you can imagine from your wine. So even though I'm doing this cheaply, I don't want to waste the time and energy and end up with unusable vinegar. Vinegar I don't mind. Unusable I do. This is a pomegranate, and I ended up doing wine with it because it just wasn't that good eating. So I went ahead and de-seeded them, squished them, and I only did a gallon, and now I've got into a half gallon. We've sampled it. It's a bit on the acidic side. Let's see. And this is how I'm keeping notes. This is my little notebook. I don't think I need a whole big notebook or even a half-size notebook. This is working how I'm doing stuff. This is just works better for me. And I'm keeping information of when I'm doing what. And I should have taken, this is specific gravity before I added the yeast, to find out exactly how much alcohol I am making in these batches. But I'm experimenting, I'm learning. So if that matters to you, which initially I thought I'm not going to get more than 6%, so, but wrong. I'm pretty sure we're getting a stronger wine than maybe what's right. This I've racked. The term is racking when you take it from the bucket and put it into one of these. They call them carboys. I'm calling them jugs because I'm using plastic because it's lighter, it's cheaper. I don't for what I can buy 6 of these, I may not even be able to buy one of the glass ones in that size, or a 5-gallon. So this works. The problem you may end up with is not being able to clean these out fully, and it may affect any wine you make in it later. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Plastic will scratch. You have to be careful what you use in there. Stuff that you can clean your glass bottles with, you cannot do that with your plastic. Things like that. Just learning different things. But I'm using the plastic because it's light. It was inexpensive. And I could store water in it if I had to. This I poured off last night, so it's still settling. This is what you get, the must or the yeast coming down, and the wine is clearing. So you're waiting for it to stop bubbling, and there's ways to degas, but I'm going to just let things go naturally. For the most part, things are going to stay in these. I'm just going to change the lids to a solid lid to when they're finished, and not bottle them all at one time. You know, just let them stay in there until I'm ready for that next batch to be bottled. This is also muscadine wine. It's a nice deep color. Nice and warm over here. So, got that going. I want to return my spare room into a room that a guest could sleep in. And if you sleep in here, you'll hear these things bubbling at odd intervals because there's several of them in here. Okay, I just finished siphoning number 4. This is fine. You want to just do it to clarify. I did not, in the other jugs, they didn't give me a problem with the must, but this one it was already from the very beginning when I started it. The must was in the tube, so got to clear it. I need to top this off and then put the airlock on it. But then I did two peaches. These are 2 peach wines. And then plum. I ended up buying some plums and thought, oh, try making wine with that. I did peaches last year and they ended up so sweet it was syrup. So hopefully this will do better. And it clarified beautifully for me last year. So, but it's still, actually that's doing pretty good. Was a little cloudy the other day. This one is an apple wine. And then I did some more, because the plum wine turned out so good. I did 2. These are 2 5 gallons. The rest are all 3 gallons. And then that one's a plum apple mix, because I didn't have enough to fill it, and I put apple juice to it. And see how that goes. Oh, I didn't put a thing on that one. But the fruit flies got really bad for a time there. And now that we've reached November, but they're still in the house. I still have some around my chicken bucket in the kitchen. But this is what I've been doing. Oh, one other thing. I'm redoing my kitchen, well, not kitchen, my canning area. And I recently had those cabinets moved in. They'll be painted, another project. But just wanted to, I normally keep that closed because it doesn't look good. I would like to have cabinets with doors and stuff, but this is what I have and what's in my budget. But I got these on sale, and they are 750 milliliters per bottle, which is wine bottles. You don't have to have a cork. People, that's just kind of, I don't mind wines that don't have corks. So this is what I'll be bottling them to, and then I can gift this. If you price bottles they're not cheap by themselves, empty, and you still have to get a cork. I've got 100 corks. The bottles that normally have these are not in. There's warnings people warn about. If you put a cork in them, they may not be able to. They're not designed with a cork in mind because they have the screw lid, which is fine. I washed these, and 15 bottles for under $1 a bottle on sale. I got the max limit of 4 boxes. That one's all empties. And as we go through them, these are empties. And these are still good. And we don't drink out of the bottles. We pour them into glasses, and normally been mixing them with something to get a soda type effect. So these are going to be the wine bottles. This can go on the end of the siphon into the tube, and it's spring-loaded. So when you push it down in the bottom of the bottle, you can fill a bottle, pick it up, go to the next one. So that's what I'll do when this one's ready. But so far, the plum wine is definitely our favorite because I do sample. And I've been experimenting with variations. Every batch that I did, I changed up. And again, I was going for 3 gallons worth at least, a little bit more. From now on, I'm going to shoot for 3.5 gallons. So these are my recipes, and then when I sample, I note what's what. The plum wine so far is becoming our favorite, but these are all good. They're not as sweet as the store-bought wine, and not dry. I don't care for dry wines. So they're kind of just enough hint of sweetness that I can drink it and enjoy it. But again, these are a little bit more higher in alcohol. And we sampled this, and this is why I went ahead and put it into a smaller one, and then had a little bit extra left over, so we'll probably drink that in the near future. This one was a little bit more acidic. I did try to add some, before you bottle it, you can sweeten it by using a syrup mix of 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. So I did 2 cups of sugar, two pints of sugar and 1 pint of water, and made a syrup from that. So that's what this is, just the sugar water. And that I will use for what's called back sweetening. So this was very tart, so I back sweetened it and put it back into the bubbler, because when I added the sugar, the yeast went back off. So the yeast are not dead, because I don't add the Campton tablets and the metabisulfate. Maybe getting those wrong, but when you look at wine making, you'll see those ingredients, and they're used to kill the yeast so that you don't have any more fermentation going once it's done. When I bottled some, because I had a gallon that came ready, I bottled and put it in the fridge. That should slow the yeast off. The flavor's there. I'm not adding more chemicals to it. There's nothing wrong with those chemicals as far as I can find out, but don't need it, why use it? Because I'm not putting these in a shelf where they're going to bust, and they will if the fermentation is still going on. Again, I recommend definitely, if you're concerned about the alcohol content of the wine, do get one of these hydrometers, learn how to use it, and use it from the very start, not like I did. Because I didn't, I think I took a reading off one of these. And then after that, I was like, oh, well, it's not supposed to go over 6%, so what's the big deal? That's the highest I'm going to get. Wrong. But I'm having fun with this. This, along with some other things, have been keeping me busy. And odd thing is, we're not really wine drinkers, but I'm enjoying learning this. And legalities. Make sure that it's legal in your area. Some places can be very strict about this. Most places will allow you to do this as long as you don't sell it. That is a big no-no. No money. Trading your wine for something else can also put you in that gray area, and you could be in big trouble for it. It's not worth the risk. Someone's already, I gave a sample to a friend, and she gave it to a friend of hers, and he wanted to buy a bottle. It's like, no. If I have extras, I can give her another bottle, and she can share with him if she wants, but there's not going to be any sort of money exchanging hands for this deal, even in a roundabout way. And then after I told her that, she tells me he's a police officer. Well, he better know. Did he know that? Was he trying to entrap me? I don't know. I don't think so. That he was trying to entrap me, but he should know that that's illegal. But yeah, I'm in the country. People do things a little differently, but I'm going to stay on the side of legalities, because I'm just not going to risk our finances or over a bottle of wine. That's just ridiculous. It's just not. But they were going on and on about that was the best muscadine wine they ever had. It wasn't so sweet. It just had this really, and also the Dublin wine, which is really good. I will sit there and I will smell, and it's just, I spend more time sniffing that wine than drinking it. But once I drink it, the taste is kind of there, but it's not really strong. This wine, it has a really good muscadine aftertaste. It doesn't, I'm not sitting there smelling it because it doesn't have the scent that that's not the right wine word. It'll come to me probably after I finish. But it doesn't have that aroma when you're sniffing the glass, but it has that nice little aftertaste, which is like, okay, I'd rather have that than just having the smell and not the flavor. Bouquet, that's it. So this is what I've been doing. And if you have any wine suggestions, recipes, I've got some canned. There's a lot of people making wines with frozen condensed fruits, frozen grape juice concentrates. So they get a lot more of that. And then there's recipes for that online. I bought a big old can of pineapple that I was hoping to make some wine with that to see, because I did that last year with fresh pineapples, and it also turned out way too sweet, but I think I know what I did wrong. And this time when we'll see if I can correct that. And not this, but all that is some peach wine I made last year, peach brandy, and it's so syrupy sweet. It's more of a dessert, or put something over your ice cream, not something to sip and enjoy. And they said once you make something that's too sweet, it's done. You can't unsweeten a wine. And I'm going, well, what have I got to lose trying to see if I can figure out a way to make this more palatable, because we're not going to drink it or use that much dessert wine in our lifetime. So that's another experiment for another video. But that's what I've been doing. Hope everything's well in your world. Thanks for watching.